Nagging shoulder injury for Rafael Devers, not in the lineup on Thursday night for the Red Sox, and he's battling that injury, according to Alex Cora.
Should we set an over-under date on when the surgery happens?
Alex Cora said you can see it on his swing and in his face when he's grimacing on some of his swings, the same way we saw it with his elbow going back to a few years ago. So, as of now, him swinging is making the injury worse. And Alex Cora said, I know every day matters, but if he needs 1, 2, 3 days, or if it's an IL stint, then so be it, but we have to take care of this. That's the situation with the shoulder. There could be an IL stint coming for Rafael Devers.
It's just a question of time. I'm telling you, he's not going to finish the season.
This has been bothering him since spring training.
Yep.
Why would you not just put him on the IL now? And just try to.
Yeah,
maybe
sit him down for a couple of weeks and see what happens.
Maybe make somebody available who can play infield defense.
I think that's what they're scared, though, with the lineup. The lineup can't afford for him to be out 10 days or something like that. And even with him not being the bat he is right now, at least you hope he can kind of figure it out. We've seen him play through injuries before and still swing it. Right now, Masataka Yoshida hit third for you. Pablo Reyes and Romy Gonzalez hit fifth and sixth for you the night before. This lineup gets so dramatically thin. It'll be Tristan Casas and Tyler O'Neill, and you just hope.
But it's short-term versus long-term, right,
yeah,
Tyler? If he's going to miss months,
potentially aggravate the injury and miss the rest of the season, versus a couple of weeks on the IL, it's no choice.
But I think that's why they're going to wait it out here and see if you can give it a couple days and it gets better or whatever it may be before they jump right there. If they're forced to, yeah, you have to go down that line. But I think they know, with the current state of the team defensively and offensively, if you have both parts of that team completely go downhill, in 2 weeks, you could completely fall out of this thing and the whole team tanks.
I'm with Milliken. Don't put him on the IL. Get back in the lineup. You're a $30 million a year player. Your shoulder is sore. Get back in the lineup. Take a couple days off and get back in there because we're not going to sink the season in April.
He's going to just do this for the whole season. It's not going to heal.
It might sink in June. And then we'll put you on the IL. We'll end your year if it needs to be the case. But we're not going to do this in April. What's the injury? Is it a real injury or is it something that's just kind of bothering him? Right?
You know what that reeks to me of, though, Beetle? That's a panicky approach. And I understand there should be urgency. But this whole team feels panicky right now.
They should be. Have you watched the last several days? You should be panicking.
Guys
if
smashing their lockers. But to me, the season's not going to be a season. So, what are you trying to do? What's the purpose of this year? Is it to actually compete, make the postseason?
Definitely not.
Is it trying to develop guys and have them be somewhat competitive through the course of a year so you can show some competitive stamina, so you can see what some of these younger guys are made of, so that by the time you actually do want to compete, you understand who they are as players? If that's what you're going for is the second thing, which is what I think they should be going for, then play the long game here. Sit them down now. Who cares? It's early April in a season where you are going nowhere. We all know it. The manager knows it. The players know it. Sit them down now and see if you can string this out in such a way where you're actually competitive and you're feeling like you're playing real baseball come July so that we're not all laughing at you on a nightly basis.
I believe Devers, at this moment in time, should set the example of getting in the lineup and battling through it because I think it would go a long way because I think they need that. I think these younger guys on this team need to see that no, you're not allowed, Jaron Duran, to start kicking your chairs around and crying in the locker room in the first week. Nope, we're going to go out and we're going to compete. We're not going to shut it down and have the meltdown. They've already melted down, right? We're already seeing it. Their team is a puddle. They have no mental toughness. Someone has to have the mental toughness and physical toughness in this situation to set the example there because they now sorely lack leadership with Trevor Story falling apart as he already has done. They need somebody. He's got to be that guy. They pay him to be that guy.
I just worry that
they desperately need some sort of thing right now that shows we're not folding and quitting right now. We're going to try and tough it out. We're going to try and get through April. The schedule's a little soft. Let's try and be as competitive as possible right now. They should be panicking. I don't blame them for panicking because I from the outside, look at this team and say, oh, God, I already said they're dead. This team is dead. If they start thinking they're dead or knowing they're dead, this is going to be a really bad season.
But he's trying to gut through it, and he's hitting a $184. I mean, he hasn't exactly gotten off to a great start either. So a little reset on the injured list is not the worst thing in the world for a guy like that.
But if you look at the batted ball data, his BABIP's like 160. He's had some bad luck.
Have you looked at that,
He's
Ryan?
hitting the ball
You know
hard.
what?
I'm
I'll
not overly
admit,
concerned.
Nerd alert!
He's pushing through. I'm not telling you he's going to be elite of the elite, but he's not going to hit 184. And still this year, he's 8% above league average as a hitter, even with the batting average that low, because he's walking more than he ever has in his career.
Thank you.
8% above league average.
Because he can't swing. So he's forced to
It
take
hurts
pitches
to
left
swing.
and
You need a
right.
league
Not
average
a bad
bat
thing
right
for
now.
him. Not a bad thing for him to not be chasing. Maybe this
That's a good
helps
point.
him.
Yeah.
Maybe it helps him
Teach
in the
him
long
some discipline.
run. What does the manager do right now? What can he do? Is Alex Cora going to go out there and hit fungos to the guys who can't field ground balls? Is he going to put Connor Wong at second base? Is he complimented him post game last night, right? For the job that what's he going to do? Run infield practice every day at the major league level for these guys who can't play?
He's going to sit
Teach
there.
them how to sweep the bag?
He's going to sit there.
I mean, what are we doing?
He's going to send a text message to his agent and say, "Where do you think I can land next year?"
Yeah, any openings at ESPN mid-season? I don't know. What can you do? What can you do when your issues are so fundamentally based? Can you teach these guys how to turn a double play? I don't think that's in the typical managerial job description. And so I don't think he's going to be doing that. I think he's just going to continue to roll out lineups. And he's going to try to do, maybe, Beetle, what you thought he would do coming into the season and try to put a happy face on this thing and try to encourage guys to show some toughness and to be a little bit more mentally resilient. But I don't think he's built for that right now.
Outside of one night, he's been pretty good. He had one slip up after the first game of this series on opening day
How
where he
early
went
was it?
right back to pouty Alex Cora. And I thought back to our conversation of a couple of weeks ago, Phil, when we argued about this. I watch it carefully every night. I wait for Nesson to get the postgame rolling with Alex Cora, and I turn it up loud and listen and watch him every single night, his full postgame now, to see what he's presenting publicly. And so far, he's had one bad night on this front.
I love that spin. It's not that we've already seen a little bit of a crack in the foundation.
Which we have.
We have. And that would, for me, I would take that as a win. I'm considering that a win for Team Phil when it comes to this argument. Whereas you are looking at it and you're saying, well, you're taking the analytical approach here, Beetle. You're saying when you take it as a percentage of their overall
High
games
batting
and his
average.
overall post-game press conferences,
High batting
it's actually pretty good how positive this guy has been.
The truth is, on April 10th, we saw Alex Cora do what I thought he would do.
Oh, and you think that's going to get better or worse as
It's
the season
only
wears
going
on?
to get worse, and it is a situation that bears watching, because if it does get worse, he should get fired.
I don't know. Last night, he said it was a good game after they gave up 6 runs in the 10th inning and, squandered a lead late in the game. He said, you know what? This was a good game.
Well, because here's the other thing you don't want. You don't want the, what do you expect? This is the team they gave me. It's a lot of young guys, which you got 3 days ago now. And you don't want the, hey, everything's good. We had a good game. I liked their fight, as he said last night. Because there's a thing in between there, and it's being upset with how you're playing, but genuinely upset and demanding more of your team. And
Right.
that we have
can
not
be better
seen
than
from
this.
him. We
Right?
can be better than this. Because once you get to the full-blown apathy, office space attitude of, everything's fine, whatever. Kick down the cubicle. Let's go. Get another game tomorrow, right? You don't want that either.
I want to hammer something you just said, though. He should be fired if it goes in a bad direction,
Yes.
is what you're saying.
Yes.
Even though I feel like it's going in a bad direction, and I don't think it's going to get any better when it comes to his approach to this group, what do you benefit from firing Alex Cora? Do you think there's a manager out there who's going to help this young group get more mentally tough? Is that your option?
There might
Is
be.
that your backup plan?
There could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not totally.
If there is, I think I'd be open to
By
what
the
you're
way,
suggesting.
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think Andrew Bailey is that guy. So I'm not suggesting Andrew Bailey gets promoted.
Okay.
For those who think Andrew
But have
Bailey
you
and
seen
all
the
the
pitching
praise.
staff earlier this year?
Well, I mean,
He's done-
Andrew Bailey's received a lot of praise, and they obviously like him quite a bit in the front office. I would not promote him to manager. I would not do that. I would try to find someone else to be manager.
Throwing bullet sliders to the cutoff guy.
I would promote. I would try Jason Varitek in manager. I think it would be a good opportunity to see if the guy can manage.
What about David Ross, who was in Chicago before?
Not a bad. that's not
I don't
bad.
hate that idea
Yeah.
either. I think that's a good one too. Both catchers, by the way, and I believe they can make the best managers. So
And I would say also
It
both
would-
guys get mentally tough or considered
Yes.
such as players.
Yes.
And you would think maybe could help them. Not saying that Cora wasn't, but it's just you need a certain approach. If this is, like, again, what is the end goal of this season? If it's to weather some of these players to a degree where you're comfortable using them as foundational pieces moving forward, knowing you're not going to contend, who is better suited as a manager to get that out of these young guys? I don't think it's Alex Cora, based on what we've seen.
It could be a guy he's there to manage a team that has a shot to win.
A winning team.
Right?
He's contending team.
He's I can manage the personalities in the clubhouse guy. We have a good team. I can make sure that we don't do anything to screw it up kind of guy. He's not your developmental coach, which is what you really need on a young team.
Yeah, he's great at being a manager of a team with talent. He's been less than great with teams that are less talented. I think that's become pretty apparent. I don't know if that means he's overrated. I don't know if that means he's a bad manager.
I don't fault him for that.
I think there are different managers for different types of teams.
Exactly.
And I don't think he's showing to be the right manager for this type of team, which is a hard ask of anybody. So I don't blame him for the team being as bad as it is. I blame the ownership. I blame the front office. I blame those guys for this team looking this bad. But I don't know that Alex Cora is the guy who's going to make a bad situation just a little bit better.
Where you see Alex Cora earn his money is the Connor Wong pinch hit last night, where you get him in and he hits a go-ahead home run for you, and you're like, perfect. You pulled the right lever. You needed someone who could pop a homer. He did it.
If you liked that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand here. For more Red Sox analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.